Hey cats and kittens, we're back on Tulok the Barbrarian and we're here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
It's been 84 years.
That's right. In the litany of the other channels we've been announcing, Tulok the Barbrarian if you like magic, Tulok Time if you like variety, and Tulok and Mango running that Elden Ring stuff. You might have thought he's never coming back to Tulok the Barbrarian, but you're wrong. I am never coming back to building character because I didn't like making that show. I don't really need to talk about why. I'll just say that I didn't like doing it. And I think that's okay. I don't know. I don't want to be too negative. I want to be positive. So the good news is there's another series that I did on this channel that I really liked making. And a lot of you really liked. And then I stopped making it, which was stupid. No, the series I really liked making was Morier. I liked getting creative. I liked writing up homebrew stuff. So what if I made more? Yay! Is what I would say if I made more. A lot of you might be wondering, hey, you're doing homebrew for Dungeons and Dragons, and a new Dungeons and Dragons came out. Dungeons and Dragons 5v5? 5.5e? 2020? Is it 20? I think it's 2024. So you're probably wondering, with good reason, are you going to use the new system? No! I'm going to use 5e. Because I know 5e really, really well. I know what stuff's missing from 5e that would be fun to add in with homebrew. And there's a bunch of other reasons that I'll talk about. But before I talk about that, let's just show the cool trailer with all the cool subclasses that are going to be coming. We're going to be trying to make in about 2 of these a month. Don't hold me to that. I'm kind of making a lot of videos right now. Trailer time. Wow, what was your favorite? Mine too. I can't hear you. We don't have to do a Blue's Clues thing. That's a waste of time. You know it's not a waste of time. Today's sponsor, Factor. That's right, gamers, we're sponsored by Factor again, and they've been keeping the channel going in multiple ways, not just with sponsorships, but with my tummy. Some of you might not know this, but I need to eat food in order to have the energy to make these delightful videos. But when I'm managing 4 channels at the same time, I don't have a whole lot of time to run out to the grocery store, do a bunch of cooking, do a bunch of dishes. Who's got time for dishes? No one. Factor is here to make sure the amount of dishes you gotta do is way less, sending you pre-packaged meals that are ready to eat in 2 minutes. Just pop them in the microwave and they're good to go. But you're not compromising on flavor. They're never frozen. So these ingredients are fresh and popping with flavor. You're also not compromising on your budget. We all know how expensive those delivery apps can be, so don't fall into the takeout trap at the end of the year. I know January is, big New Year's resolution time when everybody figures, oh, I'm going to hit a diet and I'm going to stick to it. Well, guess what? You can actually start right now with Factor. Factor has protein plus, calorie smart, keto options, vegetarian options. Whatever your dietary restrictions are, Factor's got you covered. Or you can just hit Chef's Choice and get something really, really tasty. I've had a meal from every single one of those options. They are all delicious. Head to factor75.com and enter offer code 52lock at checkout for 50% off your first Factor box and free shipping. Again, that's factor75.com, or just click the link in the description with offer code 52lock for 50% off your first Factor box and free shipping. It helps you out with some tasty food, and it also helps us out when you use the offer code. So please do that. Now let's talk about D&D 2024 and why I don't really like it very much, okay? So right off the rip, I want to say the designers of D&D 2024 did a good job, and they should be proud of themselves, and you shouldn't be mad at them. Boy howdy, D&D has been kind of a crazy space the past couple of years, and sometimes we get whipped up into a frenzy, and sometimes we're really crappy to each other. And that's not cool. Definitely not saying you have to go buy Hasbro stock, but if I got hired to work on D&D, if they sent me an email and were like, hey, Phil, we want to pay off your student loans and Morier is now canon to D&D, I'd do it. To keep it positive, there's a lot of stuff in 2024 that I've seen that I've really liked. I like that monk key points are now called focus points. I think that's better. But there's a lot of good changes like that. There's a lot of stuff that's in there for sensitivity and accessibility, but I think it sort of loses out on accessibility because I think 5e was the most accessible tabletop RPG of all time. Not really because of anything Wizards of the Coast did, certainly, but because of when it came out. So 5e came out like at the perfect time for smaller content creators to use it as a way to tell a story. It's like Critical Role, The Adventure Zone, and a little later Dimension 20 are some of the best ways for people to learn how to play not just 5e, but tabletop RPGs in general. But all of those shows started with 5e, or something close enough to 5e that people could watch the show and learn how the rules worked by watching this show. The monk thing, for example, or the key points into focus points. They could have just done that in another book like they did with Tasha's, or the formerly known class feature variants, Unearthed Arcana. Take a shot if you remember that era of the channel when I needed to put unarmed fighting on everyone and I had to mention the class feature variants, Unearthed Arcana. You just release a new book and say, hey, we call them focus points now. Moving on. And instead, they changed up a bunch of rules that they say are compatible with 5e, but no, they aren't. They specifically changed rules, I think, to make it not compatible with 5e. The idea that doing that is going to streamline it and make it easier for new players, I don't really think so. Especially because now these new players, if they want to see how D&D works and they start with like Dimension 20 Fantasy High, or they start with Critical Role, or they start with the Adventure Zone, are going to see clerics that have abilities at first level. They're going to be confused by that. That's going to be confusing. Which also gets to another point. All of the shows that started doing 5e are now doing different systems all the time. So D&D is not the only system that content is being made for anymore, which I think is a good thing. Other systems should get their time in the sun. But it also means that D&D 2024 is not going to have that same level of outside content creation that helps people figure out how to play the game. But some people, like me, aren't moving to 2024 because they don't want to, or they're moving on to Pathfinder because Pathfinder is unionized, based. They also fired a lot of their design team, which again, I want to reiterate, I'm not mad at the 2024 design team at all. Anyone who gets an opportunity to work for Dungeons and Dragons is going to take it, me included. I am upset about massive layoffs, especially because Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering are the two aspects of Hasbro that were profitable. Oh yeah, this is the part where we're going to talk about capitalism. So Hasbro is a publicly traded company, which means you can buy stock in Hasbro, which also means that it is not a board game company or a toy company anymore. Hasbro is now a stock company. And as we approach the end of late stage capitalism, every stock company is going to fall apart because the stock market is a scam. So for your business to do well on the stock market, you need to make investors happy, and investors aren't happy with profitability. Profitability is not enough for an investor in the stock market, because when you invest in the stock market, you're not doing it to make a consistent, stable revenue, and you're fine kind of risking it and going up and down. It's almost like it's gambling that's legal, because it's gambling. People aren't good at it. Like an octopus guesses stocks better than most stockbrokers do, which maybe just says something about octopuses and their business prowess. I don't know. But here's what I do know. If you want to have growing profits, so you need accelerating profits to make your stocks look good. And that's hard to do. But an easy way to do that is to lay off your staff and cut costs. And that'll make it look better for the next quarter. Now, long term, is it a good idea to lay off your staff? Probably not, because you have to make board games. You have to make D&D. You have to make Magic the Gathering cards. Laying off your staff and artists is hard. But the new people you hire are probably like fresh out of college and really eager to work with you because you make their childhood dream thing. You make Magic the Gathering. You make Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone's excited to do that. Again, me included. I'd be a sucker who would do it too. You have a lot of cool creative ideas. I have a lot of cool creative ideas. I'm just doing them here for less money. But that short-term, quarter-to-quarter strategy is not sustainable. And like Hasbro is not the only company doing this. You know how like everything sucks? That's all kind of on the stock market. Like the AI crap you see everywhere and how every company's pushing AI and how my phone charger doesn't work in my phone anymore because they like make phones so cheap so that like the charge port doesn't have a cover on it. It used to have a little cover, right? A little plastic flap that would cover it and stop the dust from getting in so that your charger would still work. And then they were like, oh, we can save a little bit of money per phone by not putting that little flap of plastic there So we'll save a little bit of money on every phone, but more importantly, people's phones will break and they'll have to buy new ones all the time. My phone's been broken for like 3 months and I have to use a wireless charger for it because I cannot plug it into the wall anymore and it's slow and it sucks, but I don't want to upgrade my phone because every phone has AI now because they're all pushing AI and AI sucks. But AI is a buzzword that makes stock investors go, "Ooh, AI is the future." Just like they went, "Oh, the metaverse is the future. Oh, NFTs are the future." They're a bunch of idiots that don't understand like what good things are or what normal people want. Nobody likes AI. And that's every company. That's Disney making a streaming service to try and compete with Netflix, except wait, Netflix was never profitable. They were just propped up by investor money. So now every company is racing to become Netflix when Netflix wasn't popular, and now every movie flops. Movies hit the box office and flop. Because nobody's going to go to a theater when they think it'll just be out on the streaming service that isn't making the company any money because everyone's trying to monopolize something that wasn't profitable. Everything sucks because of the stupid stock market, and it's all bad because of capitalism. And yeah, I guess we got there. Oh, Phil made it all about capitalism. I'm so shocked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the economic system we live in dominates almost every aspect of our individual lives. Oh, I'm not. So let's go back to D&D. Why make D&D 2024? Well, because the most popular book they always sold was the Player's Handbook, right? If anyone was getting into Magic for the first time and they went to the store and they were like, okay, I'm looking to get into Dungeons and Dragons. What book should I buy? Store owner would be like, well, you should probably get Player's Handbook, maybe a Dungeon Master's Guide. You know how many people probably just walk out with a Player's Handbook? Because the Player's Handbook's like $40. And then if their friend is playing something from one of those other books or whatever, they're not going to buy a new book. They're just going to Google it. They're selling knowledge. They're selling a gameplay format that doesn't need to be sold in books. So like, what can you do when your business is tag and you can't own the game tag because you can't stop kids from playing tag on the playground? You can't stop people from using their imaginations and playing Dungeons and Dragons without your book. So what do you do? And I think the answer is you've got to be everyone's favorite company. You've just got to be like a nice, wholesome thing that people like and want to give money to. And they've been bad about that. Like, how many times do we have to cancel our D&D Beyond subscriptions to show them we mean business? I think making the D&D movie was a great idea, but then they spent $200 million on it somehow, which I don't think is actually that big of a deal. People are like, it was a box office flop. It didn't make its budget back because of like Hollywood multiplication rules. But you got to remember, like, that whole movie is an advertisement that people paid money to watch. So like, factor that in. I don't know. I think they can make another one. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So yeah, I feel like D&D 2024 only exists specifically to complicate Dungeons and Dragons so that you have to buy a new book, because it is absolutely not at all compatible with 5e. And that's why I'm going to keep making content for 5e, because I liked 5e. I think everyone knows how to play 5e, and I think you can do a lot more by just adding stuff to 5e than you can by just shuffling rules to make things different and maybe a little better, but not better enough that you needed to shake the system. So yeah, those are my thoughts on D&D 2024. Sorry if it got a little rambly there, but yeah, we're going to have some homebrew videos out for you soon. Hopefully you enjoy that. If you want the print versions of those will be up on the Patreon. Please join the Patreon if you can. If you were formerly a Patreon because you liked that you were getting subclasses and stuff, there will be new subclasses regularly posted there now. So please go check it out and join again. I would appreciate that. You can also follow us on Twitch if you want to hang out with me live. It's fun. You can join the Patreon to join the Discord, where I play games of Spell Table with people pretty regularly now. I figured out how Discord works to add a role so I can tag people who just want to play Spell Table, and we've been getting some games in. It's been pretty fun. Check out Tulok Time. That's where I'm just hanging out playing games that are fun and I think are fun. We should have a Kingdom Hearts video out coming out pretty soon. Y'all know I love Kingdom Hearts. If you can't wait, cut the green screen. Boom. Keyblade up on the wall. Hey, isn't that neat? Yeah, okay. That'll be it. Bye.